Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's regular council meeting. Here's Tuesday, June 16th, and we are live streaming this on our Drum YouTube channel, so keep that in mind. Um, any announcements? I'll start off the announcements here with our last week was our Chamber of Commerce's. They had their celebration of excellence, and we had a lot of really worthy businesses that were up for recognition, and we had some big award winners. So congratulations to them, and everybody was well deserved for being in the final categories there. So, all right, how about Deputy Mayor Hardy?
Reminder to the residents that the essential road work in the valley has begun. The schedule with the locations is posted on the town's Facebook page and with more dates to follow.
Thank you for that. I'm sure everyone will be watching for that in front of their house. And anybody else who's next? Councillor Kalafa.
Just another reminder that Canada Day is right around the corner. The Western Theme Parade starts at 10 in the morning, so make sure you arrive early, get your seats, bring an umbrella, bring sunscreen, bring water, all the stuff you need. And the full event schedule for the entire day is now on the Town Drumheller social media and website.
Thanks for that. Bringing the need for a good time, hey? Councillor Hanson, did you find anything? No? Okay. All right. Councillor Zarisky.
Yeah, the fountain down at Rotary Park is now open. Yay! All the toddlers out there will be very pleased, and once we get the warm weather, we'll be splashing in there. And so the fountain's now open. One other just comment regarding the July 1st Canada Day activities. The parade committee can always use a few more volunteers. If you wanted to help with the parade, just contact me and we can get you set up to help with the parade.
Thank you for that. Always needing volunteers. Councillor Miller.
And a reminder to those with children ages 6 to 12 that Camp BCF is soon approaching. The first deadline to register is July 3rd. Each week is themed and full of activities and fun. Spots fill up fast, so be sure to register soon for a summer full of memories your little ones won't forget. For more information, you can visit our website or reference the BCF social media pages.
Right on. Thanks for that. All right. I think that's it for our announcements, right? Okay. So then, do we have any additions to our today's agenda for anything? No other additions? Okay. So can I get a motion to adopt our agenda for today? Councillor McNeil, sorry.
Yes, I move that council approve the agenda for the June 16th, 2026 regular council meeting as presented.
Thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Miller. All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. Now, so I guess we got, first we got to adopt the minutes for our June 2nd regular council meeting. Can I get a motion on that? Deputy Mayor Hardy.
I move that council approves the minutes for the June 2nd, 2026 regular council meeting as presented.
Thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Miller. All right, all in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to 4.2 is minutes for the June 9th Committee of the Whole. Can I get someone a motion for that? Councillor Miller.
I move that council approves the minutes for June 9, 2026 Committee of the Whole as presented.
Thank you. A seconder, Councillor Kalafa.
What date was that?
June 9th? No, June 9th for that one. Yeah, okay. No problem. Thanks for checking up on me. All right, all in favor? Okay, motion carried. Thank you for that. All right, now we're on to our 5.1. So it's our Drumheller Public Library. And that would be our meeting minutes. So can I get someone to make a motion on that? Counselor McNeil?
I move that council accepts the Drumheller Public Library Board meeting minutes for the April 8th, 2026 regular meeting as presented.
Thank you for that.
I apologize, as information rather than as presented.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Hardy? Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. All right, on to our library delegation now.
Good afternoon, Council. You'll see before you in your package a delegation from the Drumheller Public Library Board. So in summary, as required by the Council Committee bylaw, the Drumheller Public Library Board is presenting an annual report to the Council, including an overview of the 2025 activities, services, and financial report as a summary of the 2026 initiatives and activities. So I'm pleased to welcome Melody Pollich from the Drumheller Library.
Thank you and welcome.
Hello. My name is Melody Pollich, and this is Andrea Roberts. I am the Director of Library Services and have been since mid-September 2024. And Andrea is one of our board members, current secretary. I appreciate you taking the time with us today to learn some of the updates that we've had over the past 18 months. On our agenda, we will give you an overview of our staff and volunteers, our patrons and services, our community partners, and our budget, and lots of statistics. I apologize for that. So we've maintained a core group of staff of 5 core staff, 3 are full-time, 2 student interns, and 2 summer reading programmers. With the exception of our seasonal summer staff, we haven't had any staff turnover since January 2025. We have increased our number of volunteers, which include high school students, newcomers to Canada, and retirees. Our volunteers do a range of activities from reshelving library materials to running programming and to convening on a visual arts committee. Andrea?
Our board members has increased from 9 members, to 9 members with 4 executives and 5 general members. Our members, the 4 executives are Sharon McNeil, Rebecca Fissa, Ken Enns, and James Foster. I am taking over his position as secretary. And then our 5 members are Lynn Fabric, myself, Tracy Abelgard, Brooke Gitman, and Anshel Preet Kerr. We just had our annual general meeting on May 28th, where our 2025 financial review was approved. And the board recently also ran a children's clothing drive to help fundraise the library's program, like the Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
The library is open Monday through Saturday with late nights Tuesdays through Thursdays. Over the past few years, we have maintained a fairly consistent number of patrons at about 2,650, 84% of which come from Drumheller, and the remaining of which come from surrounding counties, including mainly Wheatland, Starland, and some Nehill. In 2025, we had over 53,000 people that visited the library, which was a 10.7% increase from 2024. They come for a variety of reasons: to borrow library materials, to use the Wi-Fi, borrow computers, print documents, get tech tutoring from staff, to study or work remotely, to meet with tutors, to take courses, to improve their employability, to enjoy free programming, or alternatively to offer community programming, to meet and connect with neighbors, or to do fun activities and hobbies like jigsaw puzzles. In terms of our computer use, over 5,400 computer sessions were logged, indicating a 31% increase from 2024 alone. Our computers are free access to the public, and library membership is encouraged but is not required. In fact, a significant number of people are tourists who get the benefit of enjoying our climate-controlled environment while their kiddos get to play in the children's area with all the toys and also any kind of free programming we happen to be offering. In terms of physical items, over 42,000 physical items were checked out of our library. These include things from books, movies, DVDs, video games, magazines, CDs, but also things like Lego kits, musical instruments like ukuleles and electric guitars, as well as fitness equipment like walking poles. The public also borrowed more than 10,000 electronic items, which include ebooks, e-audiobooks, movies, and e-magazines. That's not to mention other electronic resources like language learning software, LinkedIn learning courses, Solero schoolwork help, the library's version of Ancestry, and many others. We also offer 2 meeting room spaces which are in high demand. Bookings include organizations like FCSS, Family Resource Network, Alberta Primary Healthcare Network, and also private groups like a Mahjong group, a knitters group, Badlands Pride Craft Nights, a group of St. Anthony students that just love to come and host a Dungeons and Dragons night or afternoon. One of the most important services at our library is programming. And we've worked very hard in the past 18 months to increase both the number and variety of sessions that we offer, as well as the number of people attending. We offer free programs and events for all ages, and as previously mentioned, everyone is in welcome, and this includes non-library members. One of our new programs is a program for babies aged 0 to 14 months and their caregivers. All 3 of our 5 weekly sessions were fully booked. Andrea has experience with our preschoolers programs and events.
So my son, I would take him to the Alpha Gators program. It's a reading program, focuses on reading and some crafts. It's been really helpful for him, helping him to become more socialized, meeting new friends. He's actually made friends with some of the adults at the library too. He's a very talkative guy, tells his own stories. And, you know, when we do go to the library to go to these programs, it's not just the programs we enjoy going to or just getting books. There is also a monthly scavenger hunt that he enjoys playing, and he likes to get the other kids involved in it, and they all go around as a little group of reading kids who are just so excited to find what they find.
For our school-age kids, we have tried a variety of different kinds of programs. The most popular have included computer programming or gaming, and the monthly scavenger hunts that Andrea was speaking of. Our teens have enjoyed similar types of programming, including computer coding, gaming, as well as themed events like karaoke nights, cosplay design, and bad art night. Our adult programming has been on the rise since its near extinction following COVID. We offer art classes, travel nights, creative writing club, and a story time for dependent adults, which I'm particularly proud of. Our programming statistics demonstrated a huge increase in both session numbers and attendance. As you can see from the graphs, we had a 135% increase in people attending our programs over this past year. And although it doesn't look very impressive on the teen side of it, we've actually finally managed to get the teens back in, which is very important to have offered to them a free, safe and welcoming space. One of our most successful programs was a summer reading program, which consisted of 5 free weekly programs for children aged 4 to 17 years. We focused on literature and STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, for our in-library programs, but we also partnered with a number of different organizations around town to offer field trips. Most of our sessions were full, particularly when the local daycares visited. Our overall attendance number was 482 people. We are set up and ready to go again for this year. This program was made possible due to funding from the Drumheller Lions Club and the Canada Summer Jobs Program. We have partnered with a number of different community organizations, some but not all of which are listed here. A lot of these, there was Family Fun, Badlands Pride, Dancing with Dinosaurs. The ones, the Drumheller District Humane Society, the Napier Theatre, they offered free field trips to our summer reading programmers, and the Royal Charles Museum of Paleontology, which offered pop-up learning sessions at our library, and groups like the schools, particularly St. Anthony's School, where we help judge their reading fair. Finally, here's a slide of our budget. The bulk of our funding is provided for us from yourselves as our municipality, and we are very thankful for that. We have received funding from other organizations like aforementioned Canada Summer Jobs and the Lions Club and the Drumheller Early Childhood Coalition. It should also be mentioned that our Drumheller Library Society provides financial support as well, which is not indicated on this budget slide. This is because the Society purchases a lot of our materials for us and is directly billed for that. So namely, the Society purchases new computers. They gave $10,000 in new books and DVDs in 2025 alone, $10,000 in new ebooks and e-audiobooks, and new Lego kits for our Library of Things collection, and help with supporting some of our programming costs, like our new butterfly raising program this past May. As said, this support is not always evident, but is greatly appreciated. Lastly, I just wanted to thank you again, the Town of Drumheller Council and staff, for all of the support that you've offered us over the years. I also wanted to highlight the works that we've had with BCF and Public Works. They're always very responsive, caring, and supportive of us. FCSS has always been a great partnership. Having Karen in our library has brought in a lot of seniors to our group, and she's always offering a caring, lending hand for us. A thank you to the Drumheller Library Board and the Library Society and the staff who make all of these wonderful services happen. Are there any questions?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. Always wonderful that our library is doing so well. Firstly, just congratulations on to the board on the Celebration of Excellence Community Builder of the Year award, which means like you guys are the best board in like the world or something.
Thank you.
So congratulations on that. I guess the thing that always strikes me, and it's great that you have this presentation, is I think most people think of a library as books. Yeah, a bunch of books. And most of them are kind of dusty and whatever. So this presentation really highlights the incredible programming that you're doing and the wide diversity of programs that you're offering to different people and different groups and throughout the year, which is tremendous. Just one thing in your budget, I noticed it said insurance. So you guys have to have your own insurance even though you are part of the BCF building?
Yes, there's actually 3 levels of insurance for the library. So the one is the Town of Drumheller pays as the building. The second is Marigold supplies insurance for all the contents of books and all the physical materials. And then our insurance is the board insurance. Thank you. Thank you.
Councillor Kalafa.
Thank you for the presentation, and I agree. Congratulations, and yeah, you've made the library a community hub. When I look at the Town of Drumheller grants, it appears, are we doing a 3% increase each year? Is that what we're calculating the grant on, or?
Yes, I believe it was 3% this past year.
Is that it? Okay. And when I was on the board, we advocated for being able to budget to build a reserve, and you are drawing on it this year, which has to happen sometimes, but I'm just curious, are there other sources of revenue that the library's looked at for generating more revenue, that so we don't fall into becoming, dependent on reserve draws? Or
Yes, so we have been applying for different grants. So we applied for FCSS grants, um, the Canada Summer Jobs, Youth Canada Works program, to because the main cost of our budget is in the staffing predominantly. So those are kind of the main sources. As well, we are looking to get a grant, a provincial grant for, again, some new hires. Um, Other sources of funding, I'd have to get back to you on.
do you guys do active fundraising though, or?
Yes, we have done a few different things, and we have approached other community organizations to help us out with different things that can alleviate the costs in other ways. So we also plan on approaching some other groups this year to support that.
Awesome, thank you, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Councillor McNeil.
Thank you for that. Well, I noticed that Councillor Zariski and Councillor Kalafa, they congratulated you on that Celebration of Excellence Award win. But yeah, certainly I can attest to the incredible array of services. It just strikes me that every time I walk into the library, what a welcoming and a community hub it really is. In terms of the fundraising, yes, the library board has been seriously looking at this, and we want to plan also as well for some sponsorships from companies. Something that we were looking at as well is the meeting room space, the large program room. That is still has the signage up for Synovus, and we would like to get another sponsor to take that space over. So that's key for us. As well, we just have that excellent relationship with the Library Society. So we are looking at purchasing some new furnishings because the furniture, in particular, the computer chairs, are very worn because they're 13 years old. And so the furniture is key. Recently, the Library Society has supported the purchase of new furniture for the children's size for children. So there's always things that come up, but furniture is top of mind for us right now.
Thanks for that. Deputy Mayor Hardy.
I don't have a question, but the stats speak for themselves. You know, whatever you're doing in there, you're doing it right. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well said. Yeah, no, the library is doing what it's supposed to be as a hub of the community, and it's connecting in so many different ways. So I think you guys are doing an awesome job over there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else? Nothing else? All right. Where are we here now then? Can I get a motion? Yeah. Councillor Miller.
I move that council accepts the presentation from the Drumheller Public Library Board as information.
Thank you for that. And the seconder, Councillor McNeil. All in favor? Okay. Motion carried. Thank you for that.
Thank you. You
Yep.
were very kind and supportive. I appreciate this.
Okay.
Bye.
And now we're on to reports from administration. Mrs. Campbell.
Thank you, Your Worship. First item today is our CAO amending bylaw number 19.26 for third reading. So administration is presenting this bylaw for third reading. It was received for first and second reading by council on June 2nd. The details of the changes that were listed during that time are shown in Appendix C. This bylaw intends to amend our current CAO bylaw number 21.21 to designate the CAO as the head of the town's new privacy management program and to clarify other responsibilities in light of the newly created Bill 28 legislation that was recently passed by Municipal Affairs in the province of Alberta. The following added changes have been made to the proposed amending bylaw in advance of third reading. We did modify the header of section 2.1 to correctly read amendments, which was incorrectly labeled definitions before. Instead of including section 2.1 F.1 as a privacy, oh man, PAPA. What is the PAPA definition? I can't remember. But that darn Privacy of Personal Information Act definition in the bylaw is now amended and is replaced with section 2.1G. This change is due to the previous section, just generic policy no longer being necessary, as we've broken it out as an administrative policy versus a council policy. As well, section 8.2A, right, it was the Protection of Privacy Act. Thank you for that. Section 8.2A has been amended as well to correct a clerical error in the use of the word half, which should have been be half. So the original changes made at first and second reading are also highlighted and included in the CAO consolidated bylaw under Appendix B in red font, while the adjustments presented to council today are reflected in green font. Financial implications of the bylaw amendment, there are none. Our strategic policy alignment is in line with our pillar number 1 to provide sustainable services. Drumheller ensures municipal services are sustainable, predictable, transparent, and supported by resilient organization and long-term financial planning. Our public participation strategy on this is that we will inform the public by posting the proposed bylaw on our website once the amending bylaw has been adopted by council. Our recommendation today is that council gives third and final reading to CAO amending bylaw number 19.26 as presented. Thank you.
Right on. Any questions? Councillor Zerski? You ready to make a motion? Any questions first? No questions first? Make a motion then?
I move the council gives third and final reading to CAO amending bylaw number 19.26 as presented.
Okay, thank you for that. And a seconder, Councillor Miller. All in favor? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. All right. On to the next.
Thank you, Your Worship. Our second report is for our external committees reporting exemption approval. So recently, council did adopt our council committee bylaw number 34.25, which serves us as a framework for most council committees by streamlining the committee creation process and to ensure consistency in governance, as well as reduce procedural confusion. Following discussions during the implementation of the new processes, administration is recommending council pass a resolution to remove one of the reporting requirements specific for external committees. So section 9.2A mandates that council committees submit approved minutes to the town within 2 weeks of their approval for inclusion in our council agenda packages. Section 26.1 requires external committees receiving support from the town to also comply with this reporting requirement. The original intent of this clause was to ensure that committees which receive support from the town comply with the remaining provisions as well as Section 9.2, primarily to share governance documents and membership updates with the town for administrative efficiencies, and to ensure that funds or in-kind support provided by the town are reported to council. An unintended consequence of section 26.1 is the submission of the minutes. Some external committees are not classified as public bodies. Therefore, this may not be an appropriate reporting obligation for these committees that are established under external bylaws or governance frameworks. With the provision found in section 9.6, council may choose to waive some of or all of the reporting requirements through a resolution of council. Therefore, administration is recommending council proactively waive that requirement to submit approved minutes for formal public acceptance by council for all external committees only. Once we do a review of this bylaw during its normal review schedule, we will permanently fix this issue. But as this is a brand new bylaw, we didn't want to go down that road right now, especially given the provision to do it through motion today. There is no financial implications with this request, and it is in line with our Pillar 2 of developing a healthy and thriving community. Drumheller will deliver infrastructure, services, and partnerships that support health, safety, mobility, recreation, and overall quality of life for residents. We will be, although there is no necessary public participation strategies, we will be sure to communicate to all the external committees that this is no longer a requirement. So our recommendation today is that council proceeds with a motion to exempt external committees from section 9.2A of the council committee bylaw number 34.25, which states the requirement to submit approved minutes to the town within 2 weeks of their approval for inclusion in our council agendas. Thank you.
Any questions on this one? None then? Okay, can I get a motion? Councillor McNeil?
I move that council exempts external committees from section 9.2A of the council committee bylaw number 34.25, which states the requirement to submit approved minutes to the town within 2 weeks of their approval for inclusion in council agendas.
Thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Hanson, all in favor? Okay, thank you for that. That clears up a lot of concern for some people, so. All right, and onwards to our next 7.2.1, the tax relief of destructed improvements.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll be presenting this one on behalf of our finance manager, Mr. Greg Town, who is currently away just on a leave of absence for the next 6 to 8 weeks. So this report speaks to fire damage of a residential dwelling within the town of Drumheller that occurred on May 11th, 2026. It's located at 111 16th Street Northwest. The damage was extensive and the building is currently uninhabitable. It is unknown at this point if the structure can be repaired or if it needs to be demolished. The owner has requested that council waive the property taxes for the destructed improvements as of May 11th, 2026. So improvements or buildings that have been destroyed or rendered uninhabitable or unusable as a result of extenuating circumstances may be considered for relief against municipal taxes levied in the year of destruction. This reflects the existing value and use of a property and aligns taxation with the property's current condition. This, in section 34.7, subsection 1 of the Provincial Municipal Government Act, it allows councils to cancel, reduce, refund, or defer taxes. And I won't read it, but the section is posted there as far as the power for council to make those decisions. The town does have a policy, specifically a relief of municipal property tax on destructed improvements policy, number C-02-19, which is provided in Appendix A, that provides guidance on the town's approach to providing property tax relief for this type of situation. Section 6.2 of the policy states that instances where council determines a property is eligible for relief, the following conditions will apply. Property tax relief will be granted on the municipal portion of total property taxes only and not include the provincial education taxes or levies for seniors housing. It will be prorated for the taxation year and rounded to the nearest month. It will only impact the improvement assessed on the taxes of the property, not the land itself. Property tax assessments in Drumheller are comprised of these two items, land and improvements. Section 5.4 of the policy also states that tax relief will be applied to the property tax roll once approval of a new development permit has been met. It is unknown if a development permit will be required, as it will depend on the nature of the repairs to the structure. Staff will monitor the remediation and ensure tax relief is provided to the account once this condition is met, should council decide to approve this request. Financial implications. The total 2026 assessment for this property is $239,000. Of this, $183,000 was the value of the improvements. Waiving the municipal portion related to the improvement assessed value for the period of May 1st to December 31st, 2026 equals $1,008.57. The town has a budget for potential assessment changes, uncollectible accounts, and allowances related to property tax accounts. Therefore, this amount can be absorbed within this portion of the 2026 operating budget. Our strategic policy alignment is pillar number 1, providing sustainable services, where Drumheller ensures municipal services are sustainable, predictable, transparent, and supported by a resilient organization and long-term financial planning. There is no public participation strategy on this one other than letting know the applicant on the council's decisions today. And our recommendation is that council waives the municipal portion of property taxes in the amount of $1,008.57 for the destructed improvements at 111 16th Street Northwest for the period of May 1st to December 31st, 2026. Thank you.
Councillor Miller?
Thank you. I think we should definitely approve the property tax relief for these people. They've been through a lot and they've got a lot of repairs to do and a lot of things to think about. So this is not a whole lot, but it's the least we can do to help relieve that burden for them.
Agreed. Councillor Zarisky?
So I was just wondering, so the municipality has the right to basically relax the municipal taxes. Do you know of any process or possibility of relaxing the provincial property tax or the education? Is there any kind of a application or anything like that? And I'm even thinking of the seniors requisition as well. Do you know of any kind of a process that people could kind of apply? Like, I mean, if somebody applied to the Seniors Foundation for relaxation of the seniors requisition, is that a possibility? I don't know. I've never heard of it, but I'm just wondering. Any idea? Maybe Greg might know, but he's not here. So.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Zarisky. Through the chair, I can tell you in my 20 plus years of municipal experience, I've never come across that. But I'll take a quick look and see if there is anything that exists. It would definitely be a provincial process. Even though requisitions don't always go straight to the province, but to the bodies themselves from a municipality, it is all regulated through the province. So it would definitely be their process.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify one thing, is that this is gonna be a relaxation of the taxes. Now, that is that the way you're reading it there, is that dependent on them getting a building permit or improvement permits after? Is that I'm just want to clarify that. I saw it in there.
Thank you for the question. Yes, it is. It is a requirement for the landowner to submit a development permit application in order to have this credit put on their tax roll. It's section 5.4, which states municipal tax relief granted by motion of council will be applied to the property roll once approval of a new development permit has been met. So what that means is they have to be developing something on the property. Is it necessarily the improvement itself or the house that needs to be rebuilt? that isn't stated here. It's just stated that there has to be some sort of development application, so some sort of development on the land.
Okay, no, I just wanted to clarify that and make sure that that's understood before everything goes on. Deputy Mayor Hardy?
Is there some sort of timeline on that? We all know how insurance companies move, and it could be several months before it's decided what they're able to do with the property.
Thank you through the chair. There is no timeline or time limit on here other than the fact that it can be requested from the date of the fire. So from the date of the damage and for that current tax year. So for example, in this case, it would only be to December 31st of this year. It doesn't include any sort of relaxation for next year. But that said, any assessment that was done on the improvement for next year's taxes would be based on the damaged improvement now. So the amount of the value of a half-burnt building would, I imagine, be extremely limited.
Yeah, there's always got to be some clarity in the steps from here on, because you know you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. And the insurance company, like you say, takes their time. So, just wanting to make sure. Okay.
One last comment on the timeline. Should council pass the motion here today and they decide not to pull a development permit potentially for another, say, next year instead of this year, this motion still stands. So we would still provide that credit onto their tax roll.
No, that's good to know too. That's good for them. I'm sure they have like you said, a lot of things to worry about there. So, just want to give them a clear path to where they're going and how to do this. All right, can I get a motion? Councillor Miller?
I move that council waives the municipal portion of property taxes in the amount of $1,008.57 for the destructed improvements at 111 16th Street Northwest for the period of May 1st to December 31st, 2026.
Thank you for that. And seconder, Councillor McNeil, all in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, thanks for that. Okay. There. So now we're on to our recreation and community service 7.3. Mr. Mike.
Good afternoon again, Council. My name is Mike Zier, Director of Recreation and Community Services, and today I'm providing the recommendation from the FCSS Committee for the 2026 Grant Award for the FCSS Grant. So just a little bit of a summary, the town of Drumheller receives provincial grant funding annually to support the FCSS within the region. The FCSS grant program is a 80-20 partnership between the government and the qualifying municipality to develop and deliver preventative social programs. These programs aim to promote well-being, strength, coping skills, and enhance social inclusion to prevent crises before they begin. So this little bit of a discussion here. The council in the 2026 budget deliberations did allocate $100,000 to support programming not directly delivered by town FCSS staff, with applications invited from eligible committees, organizations. So basically there is an FCSS department within the town here that does internal programming. There was a segment of that funding that was allocated and has historically been allocated for outside organizations for funding. So with the 2026 budget deliberations, 30,000 of that 100,000 was allocated towards the recreation fee assistance program, or what we call Drum Life here. So that is a low income fee assistance to access a lot of our recreation facilities here. A point of note on that is that the province has reminded organizations and municipalities across the province that recreation isn't necessarily fall in alignment with the FCSS program funding, and as such, this will likely be the last year that council is able to put this grant money towards this program. So you'll see, as part of the deliberations, I will be bringing forward a bit of a program revise. We have an actual policy for the recreation fee assistance program that I'll be looking to provide some recommendations for future funding and that sort of thing. So just a note on that. So the remainder 70,000 has been earmarked for these programs from the external organizations through the town's established FCSS grant program. So the FCS committee is responsible for collecting and reviewing applications, conducting evaluations, and providing recommendations to council for final approval. For this grant cycle, we advertised out and received 9 applications from local organizations. So each one of these submissions was assessed against the key criteria, including alignment with provincial FCSS accountability frameworks, the demonstrated community need, preventative focus, and the anticipated impact within the priority areas. So following this review, the committee has recommended funding of 4 initiatives with a total allocation of $70,000 even. Just a point of note on this, that the seniors Christmas dinner was an applicant that was actually scored quite high by the committee on here. As far as the eligibility, it fit within all the realms. The committee decided, as the applicant had also applied for the community assistance grant and actually received that grant from the town, that even though it was highly regarded by the committee here, knowing that the funding was already coming forth from another stream there. So that's just a point of note for that. So looking at some financial implications, the committee's funding recommendations to fully allocate the remainder 70,000 with no additional financial impact to the town beyond the approved budget. All recommended funding aligns with provincial FCSS eligibility requirements and the 2026 FCSS department operating budget. Just looking at the strategic policy alignment of this request, it does align with Pillar 2, which is developing a healthy and thriving community. Some public participation strategy notes. So as we had 9 applicants and only 4 are receiving funding, we'll make sure that we reach out if council approves. The applicants will be notified of the council decision. We're actually going to go an extra step just to meet and contact directly the applicants here, just to have a touch point with them on that, as well as encouraging them to apply again next year. The town will also provide a public update outlining funded programs through its communication channels to promote awareness and transparency. So with that, the recommendation from the committee is that council accept the FCSS committee 2026 grant award recommendations as information, and further approves the following applications to the 2026 FCSS grant program to be funded from the 2026 operating budget. So the Christ the Redeemer Catholic Schools for the funding of a family school liaison worker in the amount of $18,000. A Golden Hills School Division to fund the Community Resource Counseling Program in the amount of $45,000. The Big Country Anti-Violence Association for a community anti-violence program and awareness, $5,080. And finally, Community Futures Big Country for the Home Share Drumheller program, total amount of $1,920. And I'm able to answer any questions that council will have.
Any questions, Councillor Zarisky?
Yeah, thank you for this information. I guess the unfortunate thing is there's never quite enough money to go around. All of these organizations are doing great things in the community. I would like to congratulate the committee on the selection of the family school liaison and the community resource worker for Golden Hills. From my experience in the school, boy, the people that are in these programs are doing incredible work. They are absolutely invaluable. They basically find out students not doing well in school. Most of the time, there's something going on at home. And these people are the liaison between the school and the home. They're like social workers. They go into the home, they try to figure out what's going on. They spend hours and hours and hours. I know people that worked at the high school, literally working weekends. So the bang for the buck that we get out of the value from these people is just absolutely incredible. So I very much congratulate the committee on the awards for these positions.
Thank you for that. Anybody else? Councillor McNeil.
Yes, thank you. I just also wanted to mention that I really enjoyed participating in the committee and just felt that we received such invaluable assistance as well from our members at large on this committee was very useful. And I also wanted to mention that just for the rest of council to understand that through the evaluation process, different applications were scored higher if they supported one or more of the different priority areas. And I just want to share those. So, mental health and addiction, employment and skill development, family and sexual violence prevention, homelessness prevention or housing stability, aging well in the community, or senior independence. So those are the priority areas that were identified, and they were also shared on the application form. The only other thing I would request, I think it's important that we give more exposure to the funding recipients and let the community know. I would really like to see additional communication. Perhaps there could be some presentation checks arranged, and then that this is shared through social media channels so more of the community is aware of the funding.
Thank you for that. Anybody got anything else? I know as far as it goes, this is a lot of these, just like that $30,000. The province is downloading a lot of these things, and they're getting rid of them, and it's up to the town to pick up the slack for a lot of these things, and that's unfortunate, but that's what we have to do to create a good environment here in our town. So that's what we'll continue to work on in the future here for moving forward. All the all the applications there. Some of the applicants that we would love to been able to have gotten more funding to send their way as well, but now that because their parameters are changed and changing. So now that there's full awareness to all the people, hopefully they'll have a good look at it. And next year's applications they'll be able to take advantage of is one of the things that we had discussed there at the meetings as well. So that is the one thing I'll add to this. And other than that, can I get a motion for this one? Deputy Mayor Hardy.
It's a big one. Okay. I make the motion that council accepts the FCSS committee 2026 grant award recommendations as information, and furthermore approves the following applications to the 2026 FCSS grant program to be funded from the 2026 operating budget. Number 1, Family School Liaison Worker, Christ the Redeemer Catholic Schools, for the total of $18,000. Number 2, Community Resource Counseling Program, the Golden Hill School Division, for the amount of $45,000. Number 3, the Community Anti-Violence Program, the Big Country Anti-Violence Association, for the total of $5,080. And number 4, the Home Share Drumheller Program, Community Futures Big Country, for the total of $1,920.
Thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Hanson, all in favor? All in favor. Motion carried. Thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Zier. All right. So now we are on to our controlled parking, 7.4.1.
Good evening, Your Worship. My name is Greg Peters, Detective Services Director for the town of Drumheller. With me is Municipal Enforcement Manager Trent Cure. I draw your attention to request for decision for controlled parking bylaw 15.26 in third reading. Administration is presenting controlled parking bylaw number 1526 for third and final reading. The bylaw received second reading, if you recall, on May 19th at a regular council meeting. At that meeting, council heard from two delegations regarding the impact of the bylaw on First Street West and also received written correspondence for consideration. We have made some revisions and are now seeking council's approval of third reading of the updated bylaw. The modifications proposed are as follows. Newcastle Beach recreation area has been removed as a controlled paid parking zone. Addition of section 3.4 and 3.5 to set a 15-minute parking zone on identified portions of Riverside Drive and First Street West. And addition of section 3.6 to identify a set of criteria to determine if streets may receive a controlled only resident parking designation for our future work. Controlled resident only parking criteria, section 3.6 specifies to be designated as a resident only parking area, the street must be mixed use within 100 meters of a controlled parking zone and have over half of the land parcels utilized as residences. Our research indicates First Street West currently meets this criteria. Businesses and short-term rentals on residential only parking streets. We have consulted with two different communities who employ resident only parking designations, namely Sylvan Lake and Canmore. Sylvan Lake Parks and Protective Services, Department advises they do have resident only designated streets with both short-term rentals and home-based residential properties existing for parking. However, they do not have commercial businesses present. They do not offer any additional forms of parking exemption in these areas. Canmore, their parking is managed by their engineering department. They advised us that none of their resident-only streets have businesses on them apart from traditional bed and breakfasts. Owners of these establishments utilize their own parking permits to exempt guests. If council recalls, we have a similar thing existing with the hotspot program for residences and exemptions for visitors that are attending the house of a resident in the community. 15-minute parking zone. We previously attempted to install a 15-minute zone solely in front of one commercial business on First Street West. This created challenges of note as it was a too small a space to accommodate traffic volume. This resulted in more violations in the resident-only designated zones. However, a larger 15-minute zone through extensive work and with the community by Mr. Cure, extending from one shop around the corner of another shop and a 15-minute parking zone in front of a commercial business on Riverside Drive could accommodate the volume appropriately, as illustrated in Schedule B. Administration anticipates some stakeholders may be opposed to this idea. However, we have to note that there are many parking spaces behind the businesses and homes on this north side of this First Street West block. Please note, this option is proposed in the bylaw. However, if council wishes to not implement the 15-minute parking zone, the map in Appendix B would replace the schedule, would replace the map in Schedule B currently attached to the proposed control parking bylaw in sections 3.4 and 3.5 identified in green shall be removed. Newcastle Beach and Rec Area. The proposed implementation of paid parking at this facility, and bottom line, we're unable to identify comparable jurisdictions that operate paid parking in such similar areas as this. In addition, the site is not fully developed to support organized parking operations. Public engagement efforts have not been undertaken with that adjacent residents or key user groups. Given these considerations, administration believes further site planning, infrastructure development, community engagement should be completed prior to any further consideration of this as a paid parking zone. Last year, the parking program generated approximately $229,000 in gross revenue, which translated to a final net of approximately $164,000, including fines. As reported previously, we have indicated a 50% rate increase results in proceeds of approximately $32,000 net profit. $40,000 gross, indicating 8,000 in approximate expenses to offset that. It's based on a linear projection and didn't account for potential changes in customer behavior, numbers of persons, and likelihood of parking for less time as the price increases. We're going off our experience from previous years to make that estimation, and that is made in good faith. For the municipal strategic policy development, we believe this supports Pillar 2, developing a healthy and thriving community. Drumheller will deliver infrastructure services and partnerships supporting the health, safety, mobility, recreation, and overall quality of life for residents, as well as Pillar 3, promoting sustainable economic growth and development, fostering a resilient, diversified, business-friendly economy aligned with infrastructure capacity and community expectations. Tourist development, paid parking incorporated both inform and consult levels of public engagement at various stages. Engagement activities occurred throughout the program's evolution, beginning with the 2022 pilot at the Udus. As the program expanded to different areas in 2023 and beyond, engagement efforts were broadened according to a wider range of stakeholders. During the May 19 council meeting, council received delegations, as previously noted. They spoke to the effects of tourism-related parking demands within their neighborhood and provided feedback on potential parking management approaches. If improvements to the Newcastle Rec area are implemented and approved by next year, perhaps further development of paid parking out there may take place. Administration intends to inform and consult interest groups such as girls softball, Drumheller minor baseball, mixed slow pitch, as well as the neighbors and the people that live in the area of Newcastle Rec area to obtain their feedback for council's future consideration. At this time, I ask council to give third and final reading to controlled parking bylaw 15.26 as presented.
Thank you for that. Any questions? Councilor Miller?
Thank you. So, through the chair, when there's, for example, a softball tournament being held, does I guess it would be the softball team that's hosting the tournament, do they have to get an events permit to hold that, or how does that work?
Through the chair, I'll help with that one. That is correct. So there is, we do have our ball diamond booking fees, but because most of the time those tournaments require a larger space than just a ball diamond, it is a special event permit application process, yes.
Okay, so we're recovering a little bit of our money for use of that area through this permit then. Okay, thank you. Couple other comments. I really appreciate all the time and work and thought that you guys have put into this. I've put a lot of thought into it as well. And I have to say I'm not in agreement with putting 15-minute temporary parking in front of 131 First Street East. That's a home between the two businesses. The owners of the ice cream shop did request that their two 15-minute parking spots be reinstated, and I am in favor of that. Would that be 2 spots in front of the ice cream shop then, if we were to move forward with that, or how many would that be?
I'm sorry, I'm not entirely hear everything you said lastly there.
Would that be 2 spots put in front of the ice cream shop, or how many spots is
If
there
there was a
space
divider Ms. Miller put in there, then it would have to be basically 2 green areas separated by a regular parking area. Trent, anything on that? Yes, that's how we would go forth with that.
Okay, thank you for that. And then I would also just like to suggest that council take another look at our downtown core district land use bylaws, because I'm thinking in particular of First Street East and Third Street West. Those are in the same downtown core district, so they've got the same zoning bylaws, and I'm just concerned that in the future, if we were to have another situation like that, where we have a commercial business move into one of those streets that are currently only residential, that we would be going through this whole process again, and it hasn't been fair to the commercial business owner that tried to open their store there. It hasn't been fair to the residents, and it hasn't been a great experience for council or for staff either trying to deal with this. So I understand where the previous council was coming from when they made this designation, but just through the experience that we've been living now, it hasn't served the community well. So I think we should take another look at that. Something else to add to our very, very long list of things to do.
Councilor Zarisky.
Yeah, thank you for all your work on this. I actually agree with all of the stuff you got here, with the exception of the Newcastle Beach area. I guess I'm looking at that as, so one of the major kind of founding principles of our paid parking is to try to alleviate the cost to Drumheller taxpayers of infrastructure that is being used by people from out of town. Hoodoo's being the prime example. So Drumheller taxpayers are on the hook for all the maintenance of the road and the parking lot and the washrooms, et cetera, that are used 99% from non-residents, non-taxpayers. So in that spirit, I guess I look at the Newcastle Beach area. I mean, it'd be absolutely no problem for residents to use because they don't pay for parking. But when we have non-residents using that area, and again, the maintenance and the upkeep of the area is basically on the backs of taxpayers. I see it only fitting that maybe we should recoup some of that money through the parking. I guess I look at, and Jared could correct me if I'm wrong, but we spent a couple $100,000 down there in the last couple of years doing improvements. And again, that's all taxpayers' money. So again, I mean, at this point, I can see you haven't done, an awful lot of research on that, but maybe for next year, we could kind of revisit that one.
I think that's what you were talking about, was it not? That's, just give them a little more time to look at how to structure it properly and palatably for everybody. Councilor McNeil?
Thank you. I do really appreciate all of the thought and effort that's been put into this parking bylaw. And I just had one question in relation to the parking on Riverside Drive. How many 15-minute spots would be there approximately?
Through the chair to Councillor McNeil, I'd estimate about 2 vehicles could fit in that spot.
Okay, thank you. I'm in agreement with Councillor Miller with respect to First Street West, that where there is that residence, that there should not be 15-minute parking in that particular location. But certainly, if there are the two 15-minute spots in front of the commercial establishment, I think that certainly makes a lot of sense. I also thought a lot with respect to Newcastle, but I think that, yeah, it's a bit of a parking free for all over there, and without the designated spots, it's just not the time yet to do it. And I definitely believe that, yes, the engagement with all of the stakeholders and certainly the residents, we need to get that feedback. So hopefully it'll be ready for next year. The only other piece I wanted to mention is I do find the maps are really useful. They're great. But if there are going to be curbs then painted green, I think in the maps themselves, the designation of green for residential parking or residential controlled parking, it should be a different color because that's a bit confusing. Other than that, I just think once we approve this, again, I just want to state how it's so important for all of our residents to understand the new policy, and in particular, so that our residents that they will then actually enroll in this program, especially with the cost going up. It's so important to me.
Councilor Kalafa?
I just want to say thank you for all the work that's been put into this. My feeling on a couple of things is I appreciate that we did put in a criteria for designation. Now we can base those decisions on something besides, you know, that we have a bylaw that has those criterias. And I agree with Tom that we need to, you know, continue to work towards Newcastle, or yeah, yeah, Newcastle. You know, in previous discussions, you sort of alleviated my main concerns about it, but nonetheless, I still, yeah, I'd like to see us pursue that. So.
Anyone else? No? All right. Can I get a motion? Councilor McNeil?
Thank you. I move that council gives third and final reading to the controlled parking bylaw number 15.26 by changing the map in Appendix B and finding a different color for the green residential parking, controlled parking area.
All right. Can I get a sec? Whoop. Can I get a seconder? Councilor Hanson? Did you have something to add, Mrs. Campbell?
So just to get some clarity, in the map, it does show, and Mr. Peters, you can correct me if I'm wrong. In the map, it does show a green on this map, but it will not be painted green. The only area that will be painted is the 15-minute controlled area. So otherwise, it'll look like it normally does now with the signage posting resident only parking on those other areas. So in this map, it does show it as green, but that's just to designate it within the bylaw.
The green is from the walk path there, right?
Mr. Peters or Trent, would you like to clarify what the paint will be if with the way the bylaw is worded currently, please?
Through the chair to the CAO, the 15-minute zone would have a yellow painted curb. So there would be yellow painted curb in front of 121 First Street, 113 First Street, 105A First Street, excluding any zones where it's already painted yellow, and the side of 105A Street that's on Riverside Drive as well, excluding the yellow painted curb.
Great. Can you clarify where the curb painting green would be? Because we have in 3.8, we have in the no parking zone, the curb is painted yellow. And in section 2, it says the 15-minute parking zone, the curb is painted green.
Through the chair to the CAO, I believe that's the traffic amending bylaw that designates how we paint curbs, not the controlled parking bylaw.
Yes. I am looking at the next one that's coming up, but isn't that correlating with the same, don't the colors need to match in both?
I'm sorry, I really don't follow.
So in the traffic amending bylaw, it states one thing. So in the traffic amending bylaw, it states those paint colors that I just stated, which is upcoming. But then the current one, sorry. Yes, Director Brownstein, help me, please.
Through the chair to the CAO, I think there's a little bit of confusion going on. The controlled parking zones that are presented in the controlled parking bylaw, the color coding means nothing. It is just there as a visual reference for people reading that bylaw. The traffic amending bylaw will actually define what those curb colors are. And you are correct. Yellow curbs are non-parking zones. The green curbs will be used as a 15-minute parking zone. So there will be a green curb painted along those areas to signify it as a 15-minute only zone. We will also probably put stencils in within those parking areas saying 15-minute parking zone.
Thank you for that. So for So in other words, the only thing painted is going to be the 15-minute parking zone curbs, which will be painted green. So with that noted, Councillor McNeil, can you clarify again your motion?
Yes, well, hearing that, and I did get ahead of myself with the other bylaw. So I think then just disregard that piece with relative to the map. And can I then rephrase my motion?
Yes, you can, as long as your seconder is fine with that as well. Councillor Hansen has shook his head yes, so please proceed.
Thank you. I move that council gives third and final reading to controlled parking bylaw number 15.26 as presented.
Your seconder? Okay, all right, so you got a question?
I wanted a little bit of clarification. Councillor McNeil had indicated wanting to amend part of that zone in her talk, but I wasn't sure if she wanted to do that in her motion.
That's a good point. I do need to make that amendment. So can I then give a new amended motion? I just need the address to be sure I have the right address.
Okay.
Gentlemen, do you have the address for the residential property in between the two commercial properties?
Through the chair to the CAO, that is 113 First Street West.
Thank you.
Okay.
I
Councillor
move that-
McNeil, yeah, give us your motion. I'll give you a minute. Yeah.
I move that council gives third and final reading to controlled parking bylaw number 15.26 with one amendment, that a 15-minute parking zone does not apply at the residence of 113 First Street West.
Okay, there we go. We got a seconder? Councillor Hansen? Anyone else? Okay, all in favor? All in favor? Motion carried. Okay. Thank you for that, guys. So it's, you know, this one has been a lot of, work for everybody in all directions. And all it is parking your car in front of a house. So anyways, onward, onto our traffic amending bylaw now, the second half of this.
Thank you, your worship. With the adoption of control parking bylaw 1526 as presented and amended, the provisions of traffic bylaw 10.22 with reference to paid parking must be removed or amended. The second reading of this traffic amending bylaw was on May 19th of this year at a regular council meeting. One addition has been made to this amending bylaw prior to third reading. Proposed, the traffic amending bylaw 16.26 seeks to add one additional new section to bylaw 10.22. Specifically, section 3.8 has been created to clearly designate yellow painted curbs as no parking zones and allow for the use of green painted curbs for 15-minute zones. Section 6.1 provides a blanket authority to administration to designate controlled parking spaces. 6.6 permitting temporary guests of residents to be issued exemptions, as has been discussed. As it conflicts with current practice, administration does not recommend granting exemptions of this scale. And section 6.7, which grants a blanket authority to administration to set fees and modify program regulations. Administration also recommends section 6.5, which speaks to paid parking exemptions, to be amended and included for interpretation purposes. All proposed changes are captured in the draft traffic consolidated bylaw appendix B. Strategic policy alignment, providing sustainable services as per pillar 1. Drumheller ensures that municipal services are sustainable, predictable, transparent, and supported by a resilient organization and long-term planning. I draw your attention to the recommendation that council give third and final reading to traffic amending bylaw 16.26 as presented. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, any questions on this one? It's defined in this part of the yellow, the green and yellow. Councillor Kalafa.
I'll move the council give third and final reading to traffic amending bylaw 16.26 as presented.
Awesome, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Miller. Thank you. All in favor? Quick question for Councillor Zursky.
Yeah, just a reminder to everyone that these bylaws are good examples of bylaws that we have looked at, we've developed, we've revisited, we've changed. And again, nothing is written in stone. So I would expect that bylaw will be looking at these and seeing how they work over this next year. And quite possibly at this time next year, there might be a revision or so that might be recommended. So thank you for all your work and kind of keep your eyes open and see what works and what doesn't work.
Good, thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of patience on this stuff. All right, so all in favor now? Okay, all in favor, motion carried. Thank you. All right, so now we are on, should we take a break here? We need one more? Just get through it? Okay, just get her done. They said get her done. Okay, so we're on to our Director of Infrastructure, Mr. Brownstein. Would you care to take it from here?
Thank you, Your Worship. You're starting to give me a complex every time I come to speak. You want to take a break? So again, Jared Bronstein, Director of Infrastructure Services, and I am presenting this evening in regards to an EV charging station opportunity. The town of Drumheller has an opportunity to partner with Tesla to install 8 V4 superchargers capable of servicing both Tesla vehicles and other electric vehicles with the appropriate adapter. The proposed partnership would be at no cost, no capital cost, electrical, or maintenance cost to the municipality, and as well as other minor costs for staff, or there are other minor costs with staff time and legal documents in regards to this proposal from Tesla. Council is requested to determine if we proceed with the partnership and to provide direction on the 3 potential charging site locations as described in the attached appendices. Appendices B through D. So the 3 sites are Riverside Drive parking area, Badlands Community Facility, and the West parking area next to Shoppers Drug Mart. Should council provide direction to partner with Tesla, Tesla's preferred location is the Riverside parking area. Impact would primarily be due to food vendors and to parking of oversized vehicles. Food vendor locations and accommodations is one of the key action items of the town's downtown revitalization plan. Should this location be realigned for EV charging, the town should consider other locations for food vendors as well as oversized vehicles, with the potential of using the area next to the arena or the Badlands Community Facility. The other 2 locations for consideration are the far west row of parking stalls at the Badlands Community Facility or a section of town-owned parking area west of Shoppers Drug Mart. Both sites have access to electrical services, but are considered more challenging from Tesla's perspective as the cost of service a site with electricity could be higher. So financial implications, there are currently no capital costs related to this opportunity. However, there are some operating costs related to legal review and potential loss of parking revenues. Strategic policy alignment. So this is again the pillar 2, developing a healthy and thriving community. Public participation. The town will work with Tesla throughout all phases of the project to communicate any temporary parking disruptions to the public, and once the project is complete, promote the charging location to the traveling public and EV community. There is a recommendation before council tonight that council approves the Tesla partnership request to establish a supercharger EV site at in the town of Drumheller on municipal property, with sites being determined by council tonight. So that's it. There is also, there's also for council's review, there's a full briefing memo in regards to the history in regards to EV charging that has been going on since 2024. Just giving you guys an outline that this has come to council before and the direction that's been provided by previous councils. Is there any questions, comments, concerns?
Councillor Miller.
Thank you. Through the chair, I'm wondering how frequently do we have food vendors in Tesla's #1 priority parking lot?
Through the chair to councilor, I can't answer that question. I'm hoping directors here would have some information in regards to that. If not, we'd have to get back to council on that.
I don't recall ever seeing anybody parked in there, and we know with Chainsaw Wizards and that, we never had them down anywhere near that spot. That's kind of along the highway over there. That's, that's a styling spot, I think myself. But Councillor Kalafa.
With site #1 that they like, would they have to lease the entire area, or would we be able to cordon off a portion of that for them to use?
So through the chair to Councilor Clawfoot, there are initial discussions with Tesla. They're willing to accommodate the food vendors, but the entire site would need to be leased to them. They would completely redesign that parking lot to make it what they need for Tesla parking. So they would actually go and rip it all apart and rebuild it in its entirety.
I think myself, and Trent there, maybe that'd be something for you. I don't recall ever seeing any oversized vehicles in that parking lot. Or I think if you ever managed to get yourself wiggled in there, it'd be hard to get out with any kind of a oversize or tent and trailer, like truck and trailer kind of rig.
Yeah, to the chair, I would echo those sentiments.
All right, yeah.
If I may add, your worship, it has happened. People try almost anything.
Thank you for that clarity. Were you gonna ask me something, or Councillor Miller?
Yeah, I was just wondering if Bala could let us know how busy does that parking lot generally get? I think it's a great spot. My only concern is that if that's a parking lot that is full every day in July and August, then it might not be a great spot to take parking away from, because that's already such a congested area.
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Miller, I would actually say that parking lot is probably underutilized, and that it would accommodate the space for the Tesla chargers quite well.
Perfect, thank you.
Councillor Zrisky.
Yeah, thank you for this. I fully agree with this. I've been kind of banging this drum for a few years. I have the opportunity every summer to help with parking at the Passion Play and the Badlands Amp. And I have been very surprised over the last few years as to how many electric vehicles are coming into town. And these are all visitors. And I always wonder, well, what are they doing when they get into town? Where are they going to plug in? Where are they going to charge? So I really like this. I also like the idea that Elon is paying for this, and I think he should give everybody on council a new Tesla, just as a goodwill thing to get the charging stations in here. I mean, he's going to be destined to be the first trillionaire on the planet, so I think he's got a little bit of money.
That was yesterday.
Yeah, okay, so he is. Anyways, I think this is a very good idea and I very much support it and look forward to it.
Anybody else? Councillor Deputy Mayor Hardy?
I would just like to say that I don't like this site of Site 2. I think that the cenotaph being there, having 8 charging stations around there would be, yeah, that wouldn't be cool at all. That area is somewhat sacred to a lot of people around here. Yeah, other than that, I like it.
Councillor McNeil?
I just would like to understand how many stalls are in the Riverside parking right now in that particular one. Does anyone happen to know?
And I apologize, that's a number that I do know, but my windmills of my mind right now are not picking it up. I can find out tomorrow and email the CAO. We can get that information.
That's okay. I think, yeah, what stands out for me first and foremost is that there would be the loss of the parking revenue with this particular space. And I have seen this lot pretty full at times, and I use it myself. But at any rate, the other thought that it came to mind for me, is there a handicap spot in this particular parking spot in this particular area?
Yeah, I don't think there is in that one over there. The only time I've ever seen that one full is during hockey games. Canada, well, yeah, Canada Day, everything's full. But yeah, for hockey games, I actually just 2 days ago, I was talking to a guy and he was like a Tesla. He had a Tesla truck, and he was looking for somewhere to plug it in, and he said there was nowhere to plug it in. He had to hurry on and get going because he got to get back to wherever it was he was getting back to. And I was like, well, sorry about it, but if we had this, it would fix that option right there. I think it'd be awesome. And you're talking about them. Are we looking at recouping our lost parking revenue there with this, or is that somehow else?
So, Your Worship, there are discussions currently with Tesla in regards to the fees for the use of our parking area. So those are in discussions and will be part of the lease contract, would be a fee for them to use the area.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I think it's you know what, the days are here that people drive electric cars, and we should give them an option. I still say that one of the questions that we should be asking at our Alberta Munis and our FCM concert or conferences are with electric cars only costing $13 to fill up. Who's going to pay for the pavement to freaking drive the electric cars on when they're all 500 pounds more than a regular car? It's like driving a loaded pickup truck around and pounding the roads out. And if it's only costing $13 to fill those things up. It's costing us more than that, and the taxation is probably more than $13 they get per fill up for us guys. So that should be a thing. But anyways, I'm all for having 8. It seems like a big number to me, but I guess if they lay it out right, if they're going to redo the parking lot and everything, hang on to your hats, kids, because I know that's a big juice draw there too. Because we were looking at doing it out in East Cooley, and the big power we got right there wasn't enough. So, all right, any other questions? Oh, here we go, Councillor Miller.
One thing I just thought of is one or the other of the parking lots, so either site 1 or site 3, in a greater need of being redone in the near future?
Through Your Worship, to Councilor Mitter, both site 1 and 3 are in need of some improvements.
Wonderful, thank you.
Good question. Councillor McNeil, you were going to ask?
Yeah, I agree with Councillor or Deputy Mayor Hardy with respect to parking by the cenotaph. I don't think that that's a good solution. And I wondered if possible, if that parking could then be arranged over on the east side of the BCF parking lot. That's what I was also wondering about.
Through the chair to Councilor McNeil, anything's possible. What we're asking for from council tonight is your top two. If we need to go to that number three choice, then that'll end up having to come back to council for direction. But I'm hoping that it's sounding like council's wanting to move with site one, so I'm hoping Tesla's on board and we just move ahead. So there should be no need to come back in regards to the BCF, but we will definitely keep that in mind.
Okay. Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. Just to add to the conversation, I did pull up our, on our website, we do have a map that shows the proposed mobile vendor sites that is available for mobile vendors. And on this specific location, it does block off the north part of the parking lot for 3 spots for mobile vendors. And it's only maybe a quarter of the parking lot just along the top end there. So it's not a huge amount of space that is currently earmarked for mobile vendors.
Councillor Miller.
Thank you. Through the chair, when you say earmarked, is that per policy or is it just a recommendation at this point?
So currently, there are pre-approved locations for mobile vendors, and this is one of those 3 locations. There are currently, the way the bylaw works is that other locations can be approved by the CAO. But currently, these are the 3 that are pre-approved and posted on our website.
Okay, thank you. Well, I mean, vendors aren't flocking to that spot, and apparently Tesla is now, so I guess that's something to keep in mind.
And they'll fix it. All right. We get a Councillor Kalafa.
I'll move the council approves the Tesla partnership request to establish a supercharger EV in the town of Drumheller on the municipal site site 1 identified as the first choice for construction, and with site 3 identified as the second choice.
No amendments on that one? No? Okay. Councillor Zarisky. Oh, you're seconding it? Okay. All right. All in favor then? Okay. All right. Thank you. And away we go. All right. So thank you for that. Thank you for the presentation there with that. That's kind of, it's kind of good. It's kind of timely, I guess. We're, hoping to get something like that into place somewhere. And this Tesla finally stepping forward in our little community, number 3 tourist spot. I think it's timely that they finally have come around and approached us on that. Okay.
Sorry, one last final comment on that item. I just want to thank Director Brownstein on initially reaching out to Tesla last year and starting the conversation and putting Drumheller on their radar. Although they were not looking to do anything with us initially, they've seen the light. So thank you.
There you go. Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Councillor Miller.
I move to adjourn the meeting at 6:08 p.m.
Can I get a seconder? Councillor McNeil. All in favor? Okay. Thanks for coming to the show. I think we got some good stuff done there. And we're out of here before 8 o'clock, so she's a red letter day. Okay.